G'day guys, welcome back to another video. In this video we're going through my round 13 AFL tips plus predictions. I almost thought it was round 12 there until I realised we're already in round 13. We're just past that halfway mark through the season. We have a few teams that had a bye this week, obviously, so there was a short round of footy, but we had some crackers of games, some upsets, a couple of upsets maybe you could say, but let's get into the reviews. Now, let's get into the review. So, on Friday Night Footy, it's Thursday Night Footy's back this week, which is great to see. Love it. And for the bonus, my Saints are playing Sydney, so hopefully we can beat them there. You'll see my tip in a minute. But on Friday, the 2nd of June, we had, you can't call it a good game. The only reason why it probably could be good is that it was close. The Blues just had another disappointing day, but so did Melbourne, really. Both sides just played poor. This was a low-scoring game, pretty boring to watch, but at least this one was close. And Carlton, they're just too disappointing. To be fair, lots of people probably would have gone with Melbourne to get it done, and so they did by 17. The Blues definitely challenged them, but they're just kicking low scores now, the Blues, and they'll need to start winning these few games right now. Their season is literally on the line. If they lose next week, they're no chance at finals for me. They need to win next week. And Melbourne, on the other hand, had a pretty good game, but they definitely played how they did against Fremantle last week. They're still fumbling a bit around the ball, and when they can, I know they've got a couple of injuries, Melbourne, but once they get those players back, they've got Collingwood next week, so we'll see how that goes. But And then we move on to a game at the Adelaide Oval where Port absolutely demolished Hawthorn in the first half at least, but in the second half, Hawthorn managed to work their way back into the game and they only lost by 55. I think Port Adelaide had a 96-point lead at one point. It was very disappointing to see from Port Adelaide in the second half. I don't know how they're going to go next week from that. I'm sure Kent Hinkley will have a crack at that, but no, Port Adelaide played some really good footy, but still impressive by the Hawks working themselves back in the game. They kicked a score of 151. They were absolutely amazing apart from that second half, but that's nothing to really take away from the second half. Obviously, they were very poor. I'm disappointed by that. I wanted them to absolutely thrash the Hawks since the Hawks bet us. I wanted that game to be a 130-pointer. I did. I hate the Hawks, and I'm sorry, Hawks fans, but I hate you, and I just want that game to be a thrashing, but whatever. Port Adelaide just fell short, and then they blew a 96-point lead. So well done to the Hawks working themselves back in. And then we have Eagles versus Collingwood. Now you'll need to watch the game to know how the Eagles actually played. Yes, Collingwood won by 63, but the Eagles for that second and third quarter definitely challenged Collingwood. I think they got it down as close as 10 points, I think, somewhat around that margin. And then, of course, in the fourth quarter, the Collingwood Magpies just pulled out. To be honest, it's first versus 18th. And to be honest, Collingwood played pretty poor, to be honest. Not poor, I know they got the win, but in that second and third quarter, they were really just not looking like a grand finalist side this year, Collingwood. But they did pull out the win by 63 points. I tipped them by 50. I just think that, it wouldn't be an overly thrashing, even though it kind of was. You can call it that, but it's not really that big of a thrashing in my opinion. The Eagles definitely took it up to them there. And then I tipped the Dogs in a bit of a shaky one. Like I said, the Cats could easily bounce back, and the Dogs, they're just disappointing me now, the Dogs. Whenever I don't tip them, they win, and whenever I tip them, they lose. So I'm not very happy about that, but the Cats bounce back. It's always, obviously we don't really want the Cats to make finals. If you're not a Cats fan, it would be nice to see them miss it, but, I just think they're probably going to make finals, Cats, once they get Dangerfield in. I know they've got a tough run, but once they get him back, they'll be on the move. So the Cats got it done there by 22. And then I just had faith in the Suns to go get this one done against Adelaide at TIO Stadium. Now, that first and second quarter, they were absolutely disappointing. I was like, oh, here we go again. The Crows are actually going to play some decent footy away from home, but no, they blew a 35-point lead, and the Suns came back and managed to win that game by, I think they had a 35-point lead or something around halftime. Then the Suns worked themselves back into the game. So good to see for the Suns. High-scoring game as well. And then, even though we had two games today, most people think they were pretty boring. They're actually really good crackers. I was going to consider a draw for Richmond and Giants. I actually had that in my head. I just felt of something funny before yesterday, but Richmond just kicked the winning score in the end. It was very good to see for Richmond, and yeah, they just got the one done by 6 points, high scoring game. And then we head over to Marvel Stadium, Essendon versus North Melbourne. Now, people thought this was going to be a boring game. Absolutely the opposite of a boring game. North Melbourne really took it up to Essendon. I can't say that North Melbourne were robbed. Maybe in the Swans game they were robbed, but I can't say North Melbourne were robbed. But they definitely played good footy. They kicked their high score. If you're a North fan, you can't be disappointed by that. They're playing some really good footy. These last 3 rounds, they've been competitive. And if you're a North Melbourne fan, you can't be disappointed by that result. I know it is hard to think of it, but yeah, even though they just lost by only 6 points, but they're definitely showing up to more games than North Melbourne. That's good to see. So that's what the round finished off to be. I've got 5 out of 7 tips this week, but I don't know why it's 7. Oh yes, because of the buys. I'm so stupid. So yeah, I did okay. Maybe if some other teams were playing, could have done worse. We don't know, but let's get into the tips now. So Thursday night footy does return, and it's my Saints playing Sydney, and Sydney host us at the SCG. Now, last year we played absolutely poor at the SCG. We never play our good footy there. Swans, the odds are going with the Swans. I don't know why, but I guess the Swans, in the past, the stats have just shown, I don't know when the last time we bet them up there. It was like 10 years ago. We must have bet the Swans, maybe even more. Who knows? But I'm just going to have hope in my Saints where it's 5th versus 12th. I'm going to go with my Saints. When it's 5th versus 12th, I know the Swans lately have been pretty good. I don't care. Suck the Swans. I'm going to go with my Saints here to get it done. Hopefully we'll get the win. I wouldn't be surprised if Sydney do win. Are we starting to drop off? Yes, we've got some wins, but they've definitely been challenged. I think we'll still win this. I have hope in us to get it done here. But I think it's going to be no easy task versus a Swans side. I never know, you could just type in the box here. I'm going to go with the Saints to win it by 17 points. I'll go us to win it by 11. I think we can just get it done over the line, hopefully. We won't fall off. And then we head over to Friday night footy. We have the Power taking on the Bulldogs. Now, the odds are just going with the Power to get it done. And they came off a win against Hawthorn, but in the end it was very disappointing to see. They switched off. Yes, they're obviously going to win the game from there, but seriously, surely if they powered off, the Hawks only would have kicked 3 goals. Surely they wouldn't have kicked 7, I don't know what it was, 6 or 7. 3 or 2 is fine. 6 and 7 is very... when they kick 6 and 7 in a row, 6 or 7 in a row, the Hawks, it's very a disappointing way to finish off the game, especially against Hawthorn. I can't speak. We lost to Hawthorn last week, obviously. We don't need to talk about that. And then the Dogs coming off a disappointing loss from Geelong at Marvel Stadium. This one's very tough. I could see the Dogs ending the Power streak. They just continue the streak. They've been versing a couple of easy sides, though, the Power. With how they finished the game off, the Power, should I tip against them? I'm just going to tip the Power. They've got a 10-game winning streak. The Dogs lost to Geelong. I'm going to tip against the Dogs, even though they'll probably win. The Dogs just played pretty poor against the Cats. Not pretty poor, they're always in the game, the Dogs. It was very close, but the Cats just broke out in the end. So yeah, I'll go tip Port Adelaide in a close one. I'm going to go tip the Power by 9 points. I think this one will be very close. Here we are. We have the Lions versus Hawthorn. Now, if this was at the Gabba, easily going with the Lions by a comfortable margin. Everyone knows I want to be tipping the Lions. Who doesn't tip the Lions? I'd like to see what the website says about this. But, I think the Hawks can challenge the Lions. If this was, if the Power just managed to win by over 100 points, I thought this could easily be a 120-pointer at the Gabba as well. This could easily be a 120-pointer, but I'll tip the Lions here. Should get it done in this one. Not going to say much. I'll tip the Lions to get it done by 55 points. I think the Hawks will challenge them, but just how they played in that first half against Port, I think they might have... That's like the biggest halftime lead of the season, I think, possibly. So they were disappointing, the Hawks, even though, yes, they came back in the second half, but were disappointing, the Hawks. We're not going to say much about this game, just going to tip the Lions there. And then we have the Crows taking on the Eagles at the Adelaide Oval now. Again, I'm going to be tipping the Crows should get it done here at home. They've been they lost against Gold Coast. They had a 35-point lead. They were going well in this first half, but then just like Port Adelaide, they fell short, and then the Suns managed to just take the win there, snag the win by 25 points. But the Eagles, they can challenge them a bit. I'm going to go the Crows to get it done. They should get it done, but I think the Eagles will challenge the Crows. They play pretty well against Collingwood, I have to say. It's not like that 116-point thrashing from Hawthorn. If there's any team that's going to thrash them, it's either Collingwood, but no, it's Hawthorn. So they definitely are starting to take notice of that big loss there, the Eagles. And, they definitely challenged Collingwood, but Adelaide is just going to be too strong. There's nothing really much to say about this game. I'll tip the Crows in this one to get it done by, I reckon they'll get it done by 36 points. I think the Eagles will definitely challenge the Crows, though. And then we head over to Optus Stadium. Fremantle taking on Richmond. Fremantle coming off a bye. And Richmond coming off an excellent win against the GWS Giants. 24 seconds to go. I don't know who kicked the winning goal, but I saw the time when I was out. I saw the time just pause on 24 seconds, and then Richmond got the goal. I would prefer GWS to win. I tipped them, but they didn't get the job done there. This one, the odds are going with Fremantle, understandable, but I could see a Richmond upset here to win, and I feel like I don't know if this is going to be a stupid tip or not. I don't care. I'm going to tip Richmond. I think under Andrew McWalter, they can get things going, Richmond, and just win this one. I think Fremantle are probably due for a loss, but I'm not going to say Fremantle will be poor in this game. They've been they bet Melbourne. They bet sides like, who else do they bet? The Cats at Optus. I know they do play good footy at Optus Stadium, and, the Richmond were versing GWS, and GWS kicked a high score against them. I just think under Andrew McWalter, last year they drawed, I don't know, the Richmond played pretty good footy. I don't know if this was at the at the Optus Stadium, last year or not. I don't care. I'm just going to tip Richmond here in an upset by 10 points. I think this one will be close, but they'll just get it done over the line in a bit of an upset. Now at Blundstone Arena, we have North Melbourne taking on the Giants. Odds are going with the Giants. Now, usually I'd just be smacking down the team that I think is going to win. Yeah, probably the Giants. But, this is going to be no easy game. I'm actually look at the odds. I think this is the closest North Melbourne have ever been to an odd where they're expected to lose. I know against the Eagles they're probably going to get the odd that they're going to win there. But, North Melbourne had two great wins at the start of the season against West Coast and Dockers. They were really looking like not a top 8 side, but, they were looking pretty good. And then they just had a drop. But then Hawkshaw, they definitely, the Roos put up a fight, They definitely, Essendon, at quarter time we thought, Essendon are probably going to win by about 50, 40 points. But no, only 6 points. And you can say that North Melbourne were robbed. I'm not going to say that they are, but they definitely deserve to win that game. I'd kind of just feel bad. I almost wanted to cry for North because, they played their good footy. They just couldn't get the reward for it. Who should I tip? It's at Blundstone. North Melbourne are playing some pretty good footy. So are the Giants. Definitely took it up to a Richmond side. I'm just going to tip the Giants here. This is going to be no safe tip. The odds are just going to go with the Giants here to get it done by $1.45. But they're getting it done by $1.55 by the looks of it, the Giants. I'm going to go the Giants in this one to get it done. I think this one's going to be another close one. You know what, let's chuck it in. I'm going to go the Giants by 1 point to win this one. 1 point to win it. And then we have Carlton taking on Essendon at the MCG. Now, both sides, they don't really have much in common. I don't know why I keep saying that, but the Blues just been disappointing. I don't know if that's 4 or 5 in a row now, but it's really not looking good for the Blues. I don't even think they'll make finals, but there's still a chance. They need to win this game. They're going. I don't care. I'm tipping Essendon in this one. Surely they'll get it done here, the Bombers, to keep their finals hopes alive, and then they're in 6th spot, so they could overtake my Saints if we lose. I would, even though people do hate Essendon, and from that game I probably even hate them more because I wanted North to win in that one, but also for the Saints, I just wanted North to win. But, it would be good if we see another side make finals this year. I know Essendon every second year seem to make finals, and it would be no shock if they do make finals The odds are going with Essendon. I'm going to go the Bombers here to get it done. They should get it done, hopefully, by 17 points, beat the Blues. And then on Monday, the Queen's or King's birthday, whatever you like to call it, we have the Big Freeze halftime show also. It's Collingwood taking on Melbourne on Monday footy. Monday afternoon footy. Now, both sides have been very good this season. Melbourne, especially Collingwood, the odds are going with Collingwood, but with Jordan De Goey out, it's never going to be easy for the Pies to get it done. The odds are going with Pies so far. I'm recording this on Monday, so they might change, but, Melbourne could definitely challenge Collingwood. I don't know, who should I tip here? I think this one's going to be hard, but Collingwood, they're just a powerhouse team. I don't know, with the De Goey out, the odds might change for this one. I'm going to go the Pies to get it done here. I think this will be a cracker. Melbourne will definitely challenge them. I'm going to go the Pies to get it done by a close 11 points. I think they'll just be able to sneak over the line there, the Collingwood Magpies. And, I think they'll pick up a good win for their season. Okay, so let's get into the reviews. Hopefully I can do better in my tipping than getting it 5 out of 7 this week. I went with the Saints by 11. I went with the Power by 9. I went with the Lions by 55. I went with the Crows by 36. I went with the Tigers in a bit of an upset by 10. I went with the Giants by 1 point. I went with Essendon by 17, and then I went with Collingwood by 11. If you did enjoy this video, please do hit that like and subscribe button. It would help out this channel a lot, and I appreciate it. Anyways, thanks for watching this one, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next